YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. A new movie is coming out called Him, and you have to see it to believe it. I say that quite often, but maybe never before are we seeing the truth in plain sight as we are in the year 2025. You can see in the poster for this film where it says greatness demands sacrifice. And anybody out there who's been listening to my channel for years, I have done dozens of videos talking about how they've programmed you with the truth in plain sight when they reference sacrifice. When they talk about, I had to sacrifice everything when they win an Academy Award, and people don't think anything of it. They go, no, he sacrificed everything. He must have stayed up late reading his scripts. Or when an athlete wins an award or wins a Super Bowl and they say how they sacrifice everything, you think, oh, they must have stayed at the gym a little bit longer than everybody else. Maybe on a Friday night, instead of going to a club, they decided to study film, right? And they say, I sacrificed everything. And we've been trained to accept that expression of how greatness demands sacrifice. But the truth is in plain sight. As this trailer will show you, as I've said for years, the sacrifice they're referencing when they use the word sacrifice is human sacrifice. That is how you get ahead in Hollywood. That is how you get ahead in any industry that we look at as an industry where people are prominent and successful. And they tell us this. And when I say we've never seen the truth in plain sight so much before, right in our faces, I'm even referencing movies that have come out recently like The Substance, right? With Demi Moore, where they're referencing a certain substance that helps you anti-age and live longer, right? But also makes you a little bit unhinged. And of course, they're referencing that certain sauce that they all love so much in Hollywood and can't get enough of. And now we get this movie, Him. And this is a film from Jordan Peele. For anyone out there that's not familiar, Jordan Peele, as you can see on this magazine cover, like all of these people do, reveals himself in plain sight. You can see the eye patch over his one eye, doing the all-seeing eye symbolism. Of course, has an owl on his shoulder, referencing Moloch. And of course, that owl happens to be wearing an eye patch. Nobody's asking the question of why is he wearing an eye patch? Why does he have an owl wearing an eye patch on his shoulder? Why does he even have an owl on his shoulder? You're supposed to just see these things and just think that these are creative artists, right? Is he paying homage to the Pirates of the Caribbean? Did he always want to be a pirate growing up? That's why he's wearing an eye patch. Or maybe he's a big fan of Madonna, who always wears that eye patch with the Antichrist X over its eye, right? And of course, the other person you see there is his partner in crime in his TV show, Keegan-Michael Key, who of course happens to be in a series from Netflix that I exposed years ago called The Pentaverate, which is all about secret societies like Freemasonry, where they use humor to make all of us sound insane, where they show you the truth in plain sight. Through mockery and humor, they program all of the people out there to think that these people who are in secret societies do nothing that we talk about. They're all just kind of silly and goofy and strange people who are having a good time in a fraternity, right? You can see the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, and even the Masonic compass that Keegan-Michael Key uses. So I'm going to play for you the trailer from this new film called Him by Jordan Peele. And again, keep in mind some of the other films that he has done in the past. The movie Get Out, which has undertones of MK Ultra throughout the film, even the cover having the split altars, the glass shattered on the cover, along with the all-seeing eye symbolism on the cover for the movie as well. or his film Us, where you could see deliberately, blatantly, all-seeing eye symbolism. So I want you to remember when you watch this trailer, and I'll break it down afterwards, because you're going to see this and you go, wow, that really is out there. They're talking about a football player making sacrifice. We quite often hear about these athletes making sacrifice, and we often think about the gym and training and how hard they have to work. Well, maybe Jordan Peele has been listening to my videos over the years. I doubt it, but maybe once at one point in time where most of these people probably knew who I was. And maybe he said, hey, I'm going to make a movie because that guy was saying that all the celebrities and all the athletes make sacrifice. Or maybe Jordan Peele is doing what all of Hollywood is doing now, which is revealing the truth in plain sight, knowing that the majority of people will see this and be programmed into thinking that it's just a movie. That way, when they hear people like us talk about how rampant human sacrifice is and how all these celebrities are connected to somebody who has been sacrificed and died in a strange, mysterious way, right? Watch this trailer and look at all the undertones and how disturbing this is. And remember, folks, it's just a movie, right? Or is it the truth in plain sight?
Do you want this? I said, do you want this? If you want to transcend the game, you have to dig deep. Your mind and your body have to be in sync. Talent is how hard you're willing to work. No days off. No sleep. We grind. I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough. That's how great people think. So you're gonna have to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice? This ain't a fucking game, man. This is everything. Do you want this? What are you willing to sacrifice? You fucking say it! Say it! Say it! Everything! And show me.
So absolutely incredible, right? You could see at the end where they show him standing with his arms out, even a mock crucifixion, mocking our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And you could see on the ground, you could see a satanic sigil. Can you not? Can you not see a pentagram? And he's standing on the outside of that ritual circle. Baphomet even makes an appearance during the trailer, where we see that Baphomet quickly appear and, well, looks to be looking for some type of a sacrifice. And of course, the main character, covered in blood, shows you that the theme of the film is indeed human sacrifice. You may have also noticed that one of the Wayans brothers was in this film. You remember Marlon Wayans? What did you think? Marlon Wayans organically was famous for not being a member of this big club, this big fraternal order. Well, of course he is. Here's Marlon, just doing the same symbols we see every single celebrity do, holding the 666 right up over his eye. We've seen him obviously pose and throw up devil horns. And of course, he even posted on his Facebook account a picture of his son with his two friends, who, of course, these people only hang out in the same circles. So whoever these kids are who are hanging out with Marlon Wayans' kid, their parents are obviously prominent in these secret societies as well and have trained them to do these signs and symbols. You think they're playing peekaboo? My son and his buddies, he writes, he looks like Papa, right? Yeah, he looks like Papa. Because 2 pictures ago, I showed you Marlon Wayans holding up the 666 sign right over his eye. Now his son is doing it as well. And he was a perfect guy to cast, right? Because you probably saw him constantly mention sacrifice and scream that it's going to take more sacrifice. It's going to take more sacrifice. It's going to take more blood sacrifice. And he holds the finger up over his lip, right? Shh. Because that's the big secret when it comes to sacrifice. They don't expect you to know that they're all in the same club, and the sacrifice they're talking about is in fact human sacrifice. And this, of course, is the vow of secrecy, the finger over the lip. This is a Freemasonic pose that we've seen throughout history. These Freemasons to this day continue to pose on magazine covers, whether it's an Eastern Star witch like Katy Perry, or it's the males in the Freemasonic orders who are doing it. We have the Eastern Star for the females, and we have the Freemasons for the males. And don't forget, their children, just like Wayne's son, are trained and indoctrinated in this same fraternal network. The boys have the D Malay, Walt Disney connected to that. The girls have the Rainbow Girls and the Job's Daughters. They're mentored by Freemasons and Eastern Star witches. So these young children look up to these Freemason older men who are grooming them, and they're grooming them in occult ideologies. The same with the females, right? So we've seen Katy Perry. We've seen every single celebrity from Beyonce holding a finger up over her lip, or Taylor Swift holding a finger up. What do you want to tell me, that Taylor Swift decided to take a picture and say that she has a big secret she wants to reveal? Is the secret that she's got a dallywagger between her? Well, probably. Did Taylor Swift just fart? Or maybe Rihanna did. And then Rihanna, of course, got it tattooed right on her finger. Could it be more obvious than that? That this person, that Rihanna, a celebrity, would get tattooed on her finger? What's the premise of that? Well, the premise of that is that this is such an important symbol in secret societies because they've taken a vow of secrecy, and they will die before they break that vow, which is reveal themselves and what they do out in the open. Is it a coincidence that Lindsay Lohan has the same tattoo as Rihanna? Did nobody tell Lindsay Lohan, hey, Rihanna's got that tattoo? Shh. Or did she say, I'm going to get that same tattoo as Rihanna because I'm a big Rihanna fan, right? It makes no sense unless, of course, you understand what they're actually doing. The common person out there can't make sense of this stuff because they refuse to believe the things that we're trying to tell them and educate them on when it comes to secret societies and Luciferian worship. So they see those things and they go, I don't know. What do I care? They have tattooed on their finger, right? And it goes on and on. LL Cool J. Look at all these celebrities that just pose on magazine covers. This isn't them hiding it from you. They're all just doing this in magazine shoots, right? Madonna, would she pass when too in the picture? Madonna wants to keep a big secret. Or Ariana Grande, many times holding a finger up over the lip. James Franco, who of course is connected to our old friend Marina Abramovich, right? That gold leafing ritual that I exposed many years ago. The video is available on the website. The Selena Gomez's of the world. The Don Cheadles, guys who attend the United Nations and the World Economic Forum, right? Miley Cyrus, all the way to guys like Johnny Depp. And I could go on and on and on because you can find every single celebrity doing this pose that Marlon Wayans is doing in this film. Do you think it's a coincidence that he's holding his finger up, doing this vow of secrecy when the entire premise of the film is about human sacrifice? Well, of course not, because this is the truth in plain sight. And this gets so in our faces, in my opinion, when it comes to truth in plain sight. When I saw this trailer and I saw this quarterback, who was the guy who's clearly making the sacrifice, he looked to me a lot like Colin Kaepernick, right? Now, some people remember Colin Kaepernick for starting this racial movement in America, where he had this big afro and he would take a knee doing the national anthem, and they started grooming people into their respective parties, your Democrat and your Republican, anti-American, anti-nationalist, and the other side, anti-globalist, right? They chose Colin Kaepernick. So is it a coincidence they look almost identical when Colin Kaepernick had a shaved head? And what else is a coincidence? That Colin Kaepernick once had the police called on him, that he was in his apartment with a woman, and the woman called the police ranting hysterically about Satanism and satanic sacrifice rituals. And of course, they deemed the woman crazy, right? Because that's how this always works. If you call this stuff out, they just deny it. And then they expect everybody else out there to call whoever calls somebody a Satanist or is performing human sacrifice rituals a crazy nut. Then, of course, they did a drug test on the woman, and the drug test came back negative, right? So you have Colin Kaepernick looking just like the character. You have Colin Kaepernick who openly has had a connection to Satanism and satanic rituals. And of course, don't forget that ad that came out, that huge ad that sparked huge controversy in America, where Colin Kaepernick says, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. And Nike got backlash for it. Very coincidental, right? That this film is about a quarterback who looks like Colin Kaepernick making human sacrifice. Colin Kaepernick is known as really the face of this racial injustice that they've created in America, which is really a government-created psyop that has caused more division than any psyop in recent years that we can think of between actual civilians. And then it says, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. And I said it at the time when this came out. They were referencing human sacrifice because they always are. So as this trailer goes on, you'll see the character, the quarterback, even growing devil horns out of his forehead, right? And then they give us what? They give us consistent, all-seeing eye symbolism, right? Zooming in on the guy's eye. Jump cuts, which is a very, very important strategic thing they do with jump cuts to program people subliminally. They are very quick cuts that most people don't notice. I've done breakdowns of jump cuts. That's also available on the website, where they just do a quick cut where you don't even expect. A lot of these trailers have a lot of jump cuts in it. It's part of the brainwashing. And they use the eyeball, coincidentally, I'm sure, in this trailer. Then they show you even the truth in plain sight when it comes to these parties, right? Because then you have the theme of, well, sacrifice. This guy, he's got to make it, right? And you see these creepy parties, almost looks like the Rothschild ball in a sense, right? Where all these rich, wealthy people, you could tell that they're rich and wealthy, right? By how they dress, how smug they look. Same thing as I mentioned in The Substance earlier, right? That film about that red liquid. They show Demi Moore's character. Oh, and Demi Moore's character is out at some type of secret party with all these rich elites, right? Very interesting, very coincidental. No, it's not very coincidental. And of course, you see them talking about all the things that come with sacrifice and what are you willing to give up to be great, right? You see people covered in white body paint. You even see a pyramid on the wall and what appears to be some type of underground, probably a kill room, let's be realistic. And then they show you human faces on the wall, right? Are they going to tell us that they're masks? Well, masks are another Illuminati symbol because these people wear masks, literally. They wear masks. Some of them have dual identities. They also live dual lives. They pretend to be someone they're not out in the open in front of you on television, all these celebrities. And then when the camera's not on them, they're doing some of the most disturbing acts you could possibly imagine, that if you actually heard them, you put them in the same sentence as people like Dahmer, Gacy, Bundy, etc. So you have human faces on the wall. And then, of course, you see people involved in rituals who look demon-possessed. And they continually cut and show you all of these horns, right? The guy's got horns in his head. We saw the Baphomet, then we see more Baphomet horns, and then, of course, we see the actual ritual sacrifice occurring. This is the truth in plain sight, ladies and gentlemen. And when they fictionalize the truth, it makes it easier for them to call people like us conspiracy nuts. Because somebody will say, oh, I heard this guy, he was talking about human sex. What? Is that like that movie? That movie, right? What is it? That I saw that movie a couple years, him, right? Oh, that guy thinks that that stuff is real because when they fictionalize truth, people are subconsciously programmed into thinking that that's a movie and that those things don't happen in real life. But it's actually a form of magic, and it's a form of predictive programming, as we know. But look how many movies we were told were fiction that have actually come to life, right? How about all the movies that were telling us there was going to be a huge outbreak, right? Like the movie Outbreak, for example, or some of these other ones like Contagion that actually showed you the same plot of what unfolded in 2020 and 2021. How about the stuff we're seeing now with Terminators, real-life Terminators, or Skynet being built out called Starlink, and how they're talking about people having humanoid Tesla robots inside of their home. And then they look back and they're like, oh, yeah, well, that's not a big deal. I've seen Terminator, and you go, yeah, have you seen the outcome of Terminator? Doesn't look so good. Isn't the sequel called Judgment Day? Don't they annihilate the human race? They go, yeah, but that's never going to happen. But it is happening. It's happening every day. We look at these movies from the past, and we say, holy crap, that's unfolding. That's unfolding. That's happening, right? Theme after theme after theme. And these people are programmed into thinking that it's fiction, when the real fiction that's occurring is actually what you see on the news. That's a simulation. Those are stories that they manufacture to control your behavior and to make you feel certain emotions, to make you think that a fake history of the world has actually occurred and all the events that they tell us are the real events that are happening because you see the world through their eyes. They're all seeing eyes, so to speak. Oh, this is what's happening in Iraq. Oh, this is what happened at a school. right? It blurs your vision and your perception of reality. The real truth, look at the premise of these films that constantly come out. Whether they're programming you, trying to convince you that space travel is real and that an alien invasion is coming, which will be something that they do and they manufacture, which will actually be demons being led over and the stuff they're doing at CERN. Or you look all the way down to things like Terminator or the Outbreak movies I just discussed, or the programming you see right now with month after month after month, movies about twisters and ridiculous weather phenomena. Now you see ridiculous weather phenomena, but people don't even realize it. They're like, oh, there was 500 tornadoes in Kansas the other day. And they go, what? Oh, whatever. And you go, that doesn't sound normal. But they don't realize they're being programmed with all of these films to think that it is normal. And now they forget that that's not normal. And that takes the attention away from what? Weather warfare and weather modification. So back to the film Him. This is exactly what I've discussed for so long about the sacrifice that they're referencing over and over and over. All these celebrities talk about sacrifice. They get on stage every time they win an award, and they always sacrifice so much. And nobody goes, what are they talking about? What did you do? Right? What did you eat honey a little bit more so your voice sounded better? I mean, what did you do? Right? Oh, summon demons? Yeah. Well, what do you mean sacrifice? Like I said, you stayed at the gym longer. You stayed up till 2 a.m. Most people do anyway. What did you do? Right? Well, the real sacrifice. What's asked of them if they want to make it big? Right? And people go, celebrities too? Well, I have a news flash for you. A lot of these celebrities are genetically modified. You ever hear eugenics? You think some of these people who have wingspans, like, prehistoric beings, that they're actually natural that way? You don't think that some of these people are sleeping in, cryogenic chambers? You think that they just grew up in a neighborhood next to you? You think LeBron James or some of these guys? Come on. These guys are all part of it. You could see it. The ritual that LeBron James even does before his games. Holds the 666 up right over his eye. Throws the powder in the air, right? Does that little witchcraft dance that he does, that occultic dance. All these guys are in it. Colin Kaepernick. They reveal themselves every single day to us. It's just a matter of whether or not your brain can accept this truth or not. And most people don't want to accept it because they want to love on these people and they want to worship these people and they want to go, they're great. And they got there because they're great. Because they want to think that this American experiment is actually an American dream, that they could achieve the same things that those people did. And this guy's saying LeBron James was a part of the eugenics projects, and he's not what he claims. He didn't work harder than everybody else. I don't want to hear that. I love LeBron James. Well, I don't want to hear that Johnny Depp had to commit human sacrifice or Madonna to become big stars. Right? How many people look and sound the same as all these people? Dime a dozen, right? How many people have you heard try to be like them? You hear someone at a karaoke bar and you're like, yeah, I mean, they sound the same as somebody on American Idol. What's the difference? How many people come on American Idol? Or all these ridiculous shows like The Voice, and you say, wow, they have great voice. You never hear from them again, right? Why is it just this chosen group? Well, because they're all part of the same bloodline. And in those bloodlines, they know all about blood sacrifice. So greatness demands sacrifice. Jordan Peele, and of course, you could see, as I showed you, him with the, he's got the owl on his shoulder, the all-seeing eye symbols. It couldn't be more in our faces, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. I'll definitely be checking this out when it comes out and do a breakdown on it in the fall when it's supposedly coming out, because I'm sure there's a lot more in there that should be exposed. But the trailer itself reveals enough to know exactly what the premise is, what the sacrifice is. And of course, it's very coincidental, I'm sure, that the character that they chose and they casted looks a lot like Colin Kaepernick, right? Because remember, Colin Kaepernick himself, right? What was his quote? Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, right? What do you think? He sacrificed his career? He sucked in the first place. If you ever watched football, he was awful. He made hundreds of millions of dollars. He's probably being fed money right now for what he did. And the sacrifice wasn't giving up football so he can make a political statement. The sacrifices that he made along the way were obviously the same as you saw in that trailer. And he was chosen for a reason. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.